This session highlights how sports startups can scale their ideas into impactful ventures. May I invite session moderator, Mr. Rishikesh Joshi, Secretary Sportscom, to join us on stage, please. May I invite our distinguished panelists to join us on stage, Mr. Vivek Singh, Senior Vice President Sportscom, Mr. Udit Sheth, Senior Vice President Sportscom, Mr. Jogesh Lulla, Senior Vice President Sports Tech, JetSynthesis, Ms. Shubhangi Gupta, Co-founder SportsVOT. May I now invite Mr. Rishikesh Joshi to kindly take the session forward.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. It feels amazing to see the room still half full at, after 5.5, 6 hours of a very enthralling session. This is a panel that is going to be very, very close to my heart because where do I start? But I had applied as an intern at TransStadia and at ProCam both when my journey began, and so it's very, very nostalgic for me as well, and very proud to see Shubhangi, SportsVOT, one of the most talked about startups in the recent past, JetSynthesis, now with e-gaming and esports, going to come to the center stage in the most recent developments that we've seen in the last 1 week. Makes it going to be really, really promising. And the subject, right? Idea to impact. How does that happen? And it's passion, but passion means nothing without purpose. And startups have, it's not about just starting off, it's about sustaining, it's about persistence. We have, Vivek sir out here with almost 20 plus years now of staying at it, keeping at it, and growing, not just incrementally, but with multiplier effects. We have TransStadia as well. So I'll start off with Shubhangi and idea to impact in the most talked about sports tech space. And where did you and Siddhant start off from, and how is the journey been so far?
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rishikesh. So SportVOT started 6 years back. Legally, officially it started in 2018, where Siddhant, one of my co-founders, and the second co-founder, Yash, they used to work on a YouTube project where they used to make case studies of players. They used to generate report cards. If you have seen Moneyball, you know the kind of data they used to work on. That is what they used to do. And during that time, there was this one player based out of Bangalore who reached out to us saying कि यार आप मेरा एक ऐसा report card बना दोगे तो मुझे अच्छी placement मिल जाएगी. So I think that is the idea where it started from, and then we realized what are the challenges that goes into content and data capturing at grassroots level. Everything was on pen and paper, nothing is recorded, there is no way to know on what basis selections were happening. So at that time, we took a leap of faith. We decided to stream all DSO matches of 2019. So there were like five DSO verticals that we were working with across Bombay. We covered around 2,000, 3,000 matches in just 1 month. We realized the challenges that goes into streaming, the reason why content and data capture was not happening so far. During that time, of course, we worked a lot, but COVID happened, then things were a little paused. But that gave us an opportunity to make a product so scalable कि ground पे इंसान को जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. So now, 6 years later, we have reached a point that we are covering 27 countries. Most of the times, there is just a camera on ground with no human on the ground. The production is happening all remotely. Like the commentator is in Portugal, the scorer is in Bombay, and everything is being...
Shubhangi is on stage.
Yeah, so everything is being stitched together at a very cost-efficient level. And I'm very proud to say that as of today, we are covering 27 countries globally, and we cover 53 sports. Yeah.
Fantastic. I don't know where the rest of the startup founders have gone, but this is a very inspirational story. I've seen it grow up in front of me, and giving it to Udit from there. because some of the most whacked out ideas, some of the most innovative thoughts is something that I have had the good fortune of bouncing off with Udit many times. And while it's TransStadia, looks like a sports stadium with an entire clubhouse and all of that, but how beautifully it was integrated through the Ministry of Tourism. And from there is where the thought kind of began. And you have gone through many challenges, my friend, from the time it began to today. And it would be lovely if you could give a little bit of those experiences and everything else that you may want to this audience out here.
Well, for the sake of the panel, I not take too much of time, because I think we've run out of a lot of time. But first of all, congratulations to you and Sportscom Secretariat to put up this entire event. It's I know, Rishi, you worked very hard in the last 90 days and forgotten your day job. So congratulations. And that's the passion that actually drives projects into scaling and purpose as well. And I think when we started TransStadia, it was the same thing, passion, purpose, scale. And unfortunately or fortunately, building a stadium doesn't happen overnight. It's so I built it in about 31 months over there with, I think, 500 plus crores of investment with the government of Gujarat. And at that time, sports was, as everyone talked about earlier, it was just recreation. So it didn't even have a proper standing in the investment sector. And a lot of things changed as I got into sports infrastructure. We are able to make it an infra project. So again, you get better grants, you get better loans, we get better payback periods from the banks. It's part of the national monetization pipeline. I think the government right now has now recognized under the new sports minister, Mansukh Bhai also, that we have 500 plus stadiums in India or sports facilities. So we don't need more infrastructure. We just need upgraded new infrastructure, which is in the same spaces, but more inviting to the common man. So the challenges have been immense. I think when we talk about PPP, government understands roads, they understand highways, they'll understand how to manage a pothole issue. But when it comes to sports stadiums, it's beyond just khel kood and talent and development for medals. So you need to make a financial model out of it, which allows you to look at talent as well, education as well, hospitality as well, the entire ecosystem around it, and maybe scale it to a hub and spoke model. And I think TransStadia, we are very grateful for the Prime Minister when he was the CM to actually see that vision that, sports has to at some point become participative from a private sector as well. So I think after Ahmedabad, we've also been able to work in Kerala, Maharashtra, different parts of India. So it's the challenge has been to showcase that private sector can make a big difference. I think we've seen private sector coming into oil and gas, airports, so many things. So I think it's important. And I think when we talk about scale, we need to make it available in tier 2, tier 3 cities as well. It's not only in the big cities. So the idea is when we make it friendly to the crowd, then you will have a great monetization program around it. And I think the last part is marketing. I think sports is all about the razzmatazz, it's all about the marketing. We've seen so many brands over here, Nivea and Stag, and all of them are global brands. And I think a little bit of tweaking in the way that we do marketing, whether it's TransStadia, whether it's anything else, I think we can really impact on a global scale. So I think that's the learning. I think the learning is that we need to think about scale and we need to market better. And last point over here is make a lot of things women friendly as well. We all design a lot of infrastructure keeping in mind the male community. But when you design the ergonomics, the sanitation, etc., keeping females also in mind, then you'll have more people coming into the stadium, a lot of more utilization. So I think when we talk about brands or whatever you're manufacturing in India, and I think women are making a very big, impactful difference in sport, whether it's winning in medals, team sports, whatever it is. So I think it's important that we keep all of that in mind and take it forward. Yeah.
And women is also the mother who is going to tell the child to come to sport. So I think from every point of view, women are key, decision makers in the sporting fabric of any country for that matter. But you touched upon two very, very pertinent points, Udit. One was marketing and one was community. And no one better, I can vouch for that, and I keep telling this story over and over again, that no one better than ProCam International to be able to showcase how you can brand and position an event when nobody did it. That is 20 plus years ago. And when I look at Shubhangi, I'm like, you have an asset, you have a technology as something that you built as capital. With Udit, you have a stadium, you have infrastructure that is a physical asset. But when I look at marathons, when I look at community events, when I look at building a brand like that, your only asset is human capital. The only asset that you have is a brand and an IP, no physical asset. And to keep that going requires, the highest levels of marketing, the best ways to connect mentally and emotionally with community, because what you are doing, sir, is selling an emotion. And how have you managed to do that for unbelievably long years, and each passing year it just gets bigger and better. We would love to have your thoughts on that, please. And bringing some of the best brands into the country 20 years ago is what this one running event started a revolution in India. And yeah, we would love to listen to you, sir.
First of all, very kind of you, Rishikesh. Thank you so much. And like my colleague Udit said, kudos to you and the entire Sportscom Secretariat for putting together a wonderful function today, really. Yes, it's been quite a journey. In 2003, when we launched the Mumbai Marathon, at that time it was called the Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon, it was not a running country. There were probably 2.5 events in India and about 7,000 active runners. Today, there are 800 timed events in India and 3 million runners. It's an ecosystem which is approximately north of $500 million annually. And it's growing at a very fast pace. In fact, Asia itself is growing in running faster than US and Europe put together. It's been quite a journey because we had to sow the belief. And if there's ever a statement that says that if you see something, you believe it, it's great. But if you really believe in something, you will see it. Then that has been the marathon journey. I also take a leaf from the fact that we did it not merely as business or commerce, because it could not make sense as business or commerce. We did it because we believed that this would be a boon to society, whether health and fitness, pride and prestige, giving. I don't know how many of you are aware, but the largest sporting philanthropy platform in India are the marathon races. They've raised hundreds of crores for charity. And today there's a whole charity ecosystem that supports NGOs and philanthropy like never before. Women, Shubhangi is here on the panel, which is simply great. Shubhangi, great job. The Vedanta Delhi Half Marathon is coming up on its landmark 20th edition on the 12th of October 2025. And I remember the first Veda, it was that time called the Hutch Delhi Half Marathon. It was in 2005. And I was pretty close to the event, and I asked my registration team how many women are running. We're quite excited because women did not really run in that time. And they said, sir, 15,000 people have registered. I said, that's great, that's fantastic. It's year one, 15,000 people. I said, how many women are running? He said, sir, 15,000 people have registered. I said, yes, I got that. How many women are running? He said, sir, 90. So I said, out of 15,000, there are 14,910 men I'm going to see on that day. And this time, by God's grace, there'll be 9,000 women participating on the 12th of October, so much so that the entire 10K pacing squad, if we don't control it, will be led by women. So it's been a fantastic thing, and I think, the community aspect, like Rishi said so well, the marketing, the promotion, the positioning aspect is something that all of us need to do better. We have, when we heard the panel on manufacturing, which was the previous panel, we have such great brands here, which are truly, Rajesh ji spoke about being world class. So did Neeraj, so did Shiv Prakash ji, so did Rakesh ji. But I think the positioning of our products and services, we should believe that they are really world class, and that belief and conviction, when we carry it through, really puts us in a different zone. These are, you'll hear many people say good old days of sport. Believe me, there were no good old days of sport. We all struggled. We didn't even have an ecosystem to go to. Nobody came to us and said that we'd like to invest with you. We did everything on our own money and put our own money back in again. These are the good days of sport. Whether it's esports, gaming, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's sports tech, whether it's what Rishi does, runs one of the largest, sport at the grassroots, youth and school level programs in the country. These are the good days of sport. For the next 20 years, this is going to be a sunrise industry. Stay with it, grow with it, and really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. We can't, what sport in the last 10 years or in the last 5 years this country has seen is mind-boggling. And I think the speed at which we are growing is also going to be something that we will all need to catch up with at some point. So I think that's fantastic. Coming to Jogesh. Jogesh is, recently kind of joined JetSynthesis as the CEO, and one of the few organizations that have taken such strategic leaps in esports and e-gaming. And I think with what we've seen in the last 1 week, we would love to know how you are going to capitalize on this new regulation that might catapult you, into the $1 billion club probably very soon. It'd be lovely to kind of, understand how you are going to match the speed that you will need to leverage the recent happenings.
So I think the first thing I'd like to say is, I don't think the recent happenings have anything to do with what we wanted to build. We believed in what we wanted. The recent happenings will only help get more casual gamers, I think, into esports, which is something that we've been trying to build from the start. JetSynthesis evangelized esports in the country and have actually gone ahead and built the largest e-cricket league in the world at the moment. 3 years ago, I think people thought we were crazy to even consider doing something like this. But there was that strong belief where if you get cricket, sport, entertainment together, it will succeed. So just like any startup, you believe in it, you stick at it, and you keep going. Just to give you a sense, all our players are found through the grassroots. There are people from rural areas that you didn't know about playing these video games who actually have come on teams and are paid salaries to stay on the teams that they get auctioned into. We had 48 spots this year, and 9,15,000 people applied to get in. And they competed on e-cricket to get into these 48 spots, which was then a normal auction like you would have in the IPL. So again, it's the belief, it's growing. I've been fortunate enough to come on board this year, hope to make it a lot bigger. We've also been very lucky this year that we've had the likes of Sara Tendulkar, Sunil Shetty, Nikhil Kamath, Piyush Bansal all believe in our vision, and each one of them has bought a team. So they're team owners just like you have team owners in the IPL. This is what we want we want and we hope to see happen with a lot more startups out there. While this is the e-cricket side of things that we focus on, I also focus a lot on the sports tech side. So we are looking for startups. We want to help people grow. We want to look at startups we can invest in, but not just with money, also help them grow. End of the day, we have 1.3 billion fans. We have 1.3 billion amateur athletes potentially in the country. There's no reason for us to look outside. I'm sure we can build products, we can provide services that can cater to them. And I think we are at that point now where we don't need to replicate what happens in the West, but we can innovate and build something in India for India and do really well.
Right, absolutely. And for all the startups that I hear, wouldn't be a better opportunity for me but to ask, Vivek sir, Udit, even Shubhangi, that what is that one, I wouldn't call it advice, but what is that mentorship kind of, your biggest learning, sir, that you would like to give to most of the startups that kind of presented today, and maybe something inspirational from your own experiences.
If you talk about startups and dreams, I think it's important to have those dreams which you believe in completely and which keep you awake at night. Now that we all know, the part that I would like to share is society and your ecosystem will try and cut down your dream. And they will give you 100 good reasons as to why your dream is a good one. And they'll tell you that it's a good dream. But let's start here and then do this and then do this and then we'll reach your dream. That is a dangerous thing. It will sound great advice. It will come from elders. It will come from people that are more established. And you will say, listen, he means well for me. He has a good heart. If it's your dream, start it the way you want to start it. Does that mean you will succeed? I don't know. But if you fail, you will fail doing it your way. If you do it somebody else's way and fail, because anything is possible, then you will never know whether you really had that chance. So it's not just, enough to dream. You have to have the conviction, the strength, the courage to do it the way you dreamt it. And not the way society tells you will be the most practical way to success and you will get burnt if you do it the other way. Well, if you get burnt, you got burnt living your dream. It's better to do that than to get burnt living somebody else's practical solution and way. That's one suggestion I would make.
Absolutely, like bang on. I can relate to it a lot.
And the reason I say this, we were told to start the Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon at a local level because India was not a running country. So this is not just this experience. We were said by a major multinational who said, I'll back you. They said, you start local, then we'll go a little bigger, then we'll go national, and we will take you to your dream of being an international marathon. And we said, but our dream is to do the Standard Chartered Mumbai International Marathon on year one, day one, not in 5 years or 10 years' time. And I tell you today, if we had followed that advice, that practical advice of starting here, going this, I don't think there would have been a movement in India.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, coming to Udit, a very pertinent question is what I would like to ask you. And I also feel that, this is the right platform at Sportscom where we have government, startups and, an industry body all coming together. You started your first venture in sports, your dream of TransStadia, right from day one, integrated with government, right? You don't see a lot of startups in India who do that from day one because they don't even know that, what is the role that the government can play in their particular sporting idea, and I'm restricting it to sports because sports is not even an industry status in our country as of now. And I think that's an advice that would really help startups, integrate some sort of government collaboration, business and partnerships right into their plans from very early stages rather than realizing that later in their journey. So I think no one better than you who would be able to give that outlook to the room out here.
So I think, first of all, we should all give a big round of applause to Vivek. He's made the country run, and 30 plus years of sports marketing and sports IP building. Vivek, you hold a big torch for all of us to follow and be inspired. And I'm very privileged and also humbled to be on this panel with you because of the kind of work that you've done. So thank you, Rishi, for having me here. I think when I started this journey with a PPP project, I didn't know the G of government and I didn't know the P of PPP. And it's at that time, I think government was still opening up and warming up to PPP. But now I think government is very accessible and it's very online. You can get an appointment, you can talk to people if you can. And I think it's important for every startup to see institutional sales and the opportunity that the government can create, because one tick of a government gives you scale. And that scale is something that undeniably can be a game changer for anyone. So for example, look at, let's take something in the sports sector, right? Look at Khelo India. If Khelo India had a licensing strategy for sports goods, can you imagine the opportunity that our sports goods manufacturers can have in every home in terms of balls, bats, rackets, whatever it is? So I think we should never underestimate the power of government. I think that government gives you scale, and I think this is the best time because government has an Olympic vision. And with that, I think all the startups and also the established companies have a great opportunity to go global, because all the federations, all the international federations are now coming to India. And therefore, India has become the playfield to many international championships and a lot of competitions. A lot of athletes are coming in. A lot of investment is coming in. So I think we should not miss that boat at all.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, again, jumping to Shubhangi, because their business model is completely flipped. They have looked at international markets, before the India markets. And what is the reason that you chose to do that? And thereby, what are your experiences with working in 27 countries, as you said, in the first, 5 years of SportVOT, to scale to 27 countries? And, how's that experience been working in different countries before focusing on the India market?
So the first opportunity we got was in 2021, which was the second year of SportVOT. We were very blessed to receive funding from the Victorian government over there. There was a startup bootcamp program where they were, picking companies from different countries. And we were very grateful to be the only one selected from India. And during that time, I think third wave of COVID was going on. So we had this one challenge that they asked us to solve, that being in India, you have to stream 50 matches in Australia without even stepping outside of the country. So that is when we started developing the product in a way that you don't need manpower on the ground. We successfully did 50 matches then, but although the COVID lifted, so again we got back to India, and I think that is when we started working together. As and when the product developed, there were a lot more associations across the globe where they really wanted to have that solution in place. Although, like always, people have this perception that Indian quality, we don't know how it will work. But when we had that very good case study with Australia, most of the federations were very much okay to explore it with us. We were also very fortunate that they gave us that option as well, because usually they would always want to prefer another company which is based out of US or Australia for that matter. So I think that is one good thing that happened. And after that, the product got adapted so fast in the market that like I know marketing is very important, but touchwood, one good thing with us is that everybody comes to us saying that, hey, can you do this for me in $10 an hour? So that is the kind of product that really helped us make the mark. And as of today, also in Australia, we have a registered company in Australia. It's been 6 months. We have already crossed 5,000, 6,000 matches that we have covered over there. And now the demand is only increasing. We are hoping to see more, coverage coming in from Europe. So yeah, I mean, of course, working with international markets is much better than compared to India, but I still hope that we are able to bring that value to this country because, of course, we deserve it right now. Like, we're doing it very well right now. And if we have the resources in this country, I would rather prefer to make it better for this nation. But unfortunately, being a startup, you do have to cater to international markets.
And it'll happen over a period of time, I'm sure. I'll stick my neck out to say that don't take your position for granted. Keep in mind that at some stage you'll have to market because there will be competition that will come up. So Jogesh, I will try to close the session with your thoughts on how is it that you see, the e-gaming, e-sports ecosystem integrated within young India. Like young means I would say that, the kids between the age of 8 to 14, 15, where they are not supposed, it's such heavy regulation, but at the same time, it's about, even in schools, I've seen that, there are games like Roblox and all of that schools have started integrating from standard 5 and standard 6. So does that come into the picture of JetSynthesis' strategy towards e-gaming and esports, or are you all targeting only a certain segment?
No, so we don't necessarily look at the younger kids, but look, that being said, anything in excess is not good, right? You can't control what every child does. It's a matter of education. Every parent probably hates us for making video games because they don't want their kids to play it all the time. But that's more in India at the moment. If you look at it internationally, people are recognizing esports as a real profession. It is starting to pick up in India, which is why I think we started early, but it was a dream. Like he said, go for it. We got to do it, and it was done. It's a matter of regulation, a matter of balance, and that can only come with education and exposure, I would say, more to the parents than the kids, because the kids are already exposed. And there are a lot of schools that I have actually started talking about esports and actually have curriculums in esports at a very young age, so that hopefully kids will be more responsible as they get a little older. The other thing I would like to say is, it has to be looked at as a sport. It is a sport. If you look at the life of an esports athlete as well as far as their career goes, it's actually pretty short, because there's a lot of reflexes required, a lot of concentration required, and some of the top athletes actually have to go train in the gym like any other athlete. They actually exercise because they have to be physically fit as well as mentally strong to be able to do something like this. So it's not all negative, but of course, if you sit on the couch all day and just play video games with no purpose, that's not a good thing. So just regulate it, and it can lead to good things.
Thank you. That is giving us some great perspective.
And that comes from a man who's a mean padel player. He was the captain of my team back at CCI, and you should take some padel tips from him also.
Just like to add to that I used her product and I ran his marathon as well.
Well, with that, I'll open it up to the audience. Anyone who may have a question for any of the gentlemen here would be more than welcome. Thank you.
I would like to thank Sportscom for giving the sports to that level of platform and all. But I'm wondering, there are many traditional sports in different region of our country and all. They have wings, but they can't fly. as a industry, sports industry, are we looking for the product-based industry? Those who are in the popular game, like few popular game like football, cricket, and athletic kind of thing. So what are the I would like to comment from Sportscom. What can be given to the traditional sports which are at the dormitory stage to make it active and came in the platform at the national or regional level and all.
I'm a little confused with the question. I couldn't completely get it. Is it about rural sports?
These are regional. We can say the
Traditional.
rural sports or regional sports and all. They have wings, but they can't fly. They are not at that platform because it is not. I remember that English. The cricket used to be the Englishman game and all.
Understood.
And still we are in that frame. And it is on the product where there is a product consumer base. Are you looking sports industry as a consumer based or sports as a as a game and as a traditional game and all
With
So
your
how to
permission,
give
I'll
the
take the question because no, I get what you're saying in terms of saying that, see, sports has to be looked at in both ways, right? It can't just be looked at as a means of development, etc., without looking at the commerce of it, because it will not be sustainable. And thereby, one of the very important factors out here is the government, that it can take you to tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 India with these traditional rural sports. In fact, they have been taking some amazing initiatives, because I have seen that if you look at the Khelo India Youth Games, if you look at the national games, they are almost reaching 42, 43 plus disciplines now, and they have added close to 8 to 9 rural sport disciplines such as Thangta, Gatka, and all of these in different parts and different regions. So I think that even if you look at a sport like Kho-Kho or Kabaddi, all of it was played in rural India. Today it has come through mainstream television. So I think over a period of time, I think initiatives at local levels and at village levels are happening. I've seen a lot of district level officers and ministers doing their events in their local rural regions. So, but a mix of both, I think, will be key to popularizing some of these sports. And not everything has to go global or national. Something can become really big locally as well. So yeah.
I would like to add one thing. So when we started streaming grassroots sports, we always used to think that cricket will always beat any other sport in terms of number. A district level, I won't take a city name, but a district level kabaddi tournament beat the number of any state level or even a bigger cricket tournament in this country. So for sure, there is very good opportunity in grassroots. There are certain sports in certain regions which are doing very well. It's our job as well as a community of sports that we also help them grow. But for sure, there is a very big opportunity out there.
Yeah, I was already. Can I just go? So my question to you, Mr. Vivek, is that you said that these are the golden days for sports, the sports industry. Like the upcoming 20 years would be the golden years. But when you look at the sports infrastructure from a standalone perspective that I see that we are 133 ranked in football. We don't have a football league in India. Other than cricket, no other sport is actually getting that funded that it achieves that global recognition, so where India performs really well. What I really see is wherever we make innovation, be it PUBG, it was banned because of the Indo-China thingy. Then we look at real money gaming. We were creating some things for the new users to come in. That was again what happened, we all know. So we are going actually backwards because whatever innovation that we create is actually not acceptable to the government or to the nation, is what I feel. So what are your thoughts on this?
No, I don't agree that we are going backward at all. You should see the initiatives the government is taking. You should see like I said in a platform once, today there are 3 million active runners where there were just a few thousand. Look at what the Khelo India Games have done, the Khelo India Youth Games have done. You should see, it's not true. It's a big country. And to make this country move, it takes time. Udit just mentioned there are 500 stadiums in India. Yes, do they need upgrading? Yes, of course. But there are 500 stadiums in India. I think, listen, we all have the right to see the glass as half full or half empty. And that's each one's right. But if you actually look at from where we sit, who've been in the sports ecosystem, we see so much good happening. Today, the national sports federations who control sports with a vice-like grit are so open. They're open to discussing things. They're open to supporting athletes. Today, what happened in the Commonwealth Games, what's happening in the Asian Games, what's happening in athletics, which is the mother of all sports, is something fantastic. You have a gold medal in the Olympics in individual athletics. I'm sure a lot more can be done, and I don't deny that. A lot more can be done. But if we ignore the good that is happening, then we're not seeing the glass in its proper perspective.
So, but like when I see from the perspective 1962 in football, we were doing great, right? We were Asian Games champions and all of these things. Right now, when I look at the Indian football team, it's nowhere on the grid. So we don't like, do you even know 11 players who are playing right now? No. Right, so nobody knows what is happening in Indian football. No ISL has been discontinued. We don't know the future of that. So when we compare it to other sports, just like cricket is booming just because of IPL. I understand that there are a lot of new opportunities for a lot of players. But when we talk about like a sport like a football, what is happening there? So that is the major concern. Why only cricket and why no other sport is getting that lift or that recognition?
So I think this kind of a question answer we can take offline, but I'll come from a perspective that I'm leading a national federation, which is, I'll answer both of your questions together. Yogasan, which is an extension of yoga, we are making it into a international sport with an Olympic vision. So to answer your question that indigenous sports are making wave, next year we are in the Asian Games in 2026 in Nagoya, Japan. In 2030 we are part of the Commonwealth Games. 2032 hopefully we will be in the Olympics, and we're launching the league very soon. So it requires a lot of structure. It looks at a structure where, and therefore to answer your question, football is an outlier. Okay. And why I say is that unless, and this is a simple thing in sport, do we beat international countries? Number one. So unless we create heroes, nothing is going to happen. IPL came and became successful because cricketers in India were beating nations outside of India, and therefore those heroes established the core of IPL. We can't do that in any other sport unless we are winning. So one, we need to win globally. The talent, etc., is part of the federation's job, and they have to do it. And I think the second part is that all these sports have to be in some form or another have a good amount of viewership. So the sport has to be put together for television in the right format, in the right passionate manner. I think what cricket was earlier and what has become today is from a 5-day program to a 3-hour capsule. It's innovated. If you look at football also, now there's something called the Kings League, which is going on globally. It's also very, fascinating. So everything is making a big change. And therefore, I think structure, federation, governance in terms of innovation and having great marketing minds like Vivek, etc., to be part of this growth of these federations becomes very important. And I think that will apply to traditional sports also and also global sports. Thank you.
Thank you, Udit. Sir, I'm sorry, but I see 4 or 5 hands that want to ask a question. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to do that because we have a very interesting session coming up, which is the Secretary of Sports of Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports is already here amongst us. And, we would probably kind of love that, he take the stage and a lot more education will be imparted, if we can give him the time. So I'm really sorry, but all your
don't have
questions
a-
can be taken offline.
I don't have a question. I just have a suggestion. So I represent National Sports Federation by the name of Special Olympics Bharat, and I serve as Director Media and Communications. I just have a suggestion here. Chunk of our conversation is around able-bodied sports, right? There is no conversation around intellectually disabled athletes. I represent an organization called Special Olympics Bharat. 2 to 3% of our population is suffering from intellectual disability. Now, the 4 panelists here, you all represent 4 different domains, right? You're into gaming, events, infrastructure, broadcast. Just giving a food for thought in terms of doing something for people suffering from intellectual disabilities. Yeah, thank you.
No, well noted, and definitely something to talk about. But thank you so much, everyone, for gracing this occasion and this beautiful panel. And 3 of us here represent Sportscom, and once again, very, very grateful to see such a beautiful turnout. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. May I request Mr. Vivek Singh to felicitate our distinguished panelists and present our token of appreciation to Mr. Udit Singh, Senior Vice President, Sportscom. Mr. Rishikesh Joshi, Secretary, Sportscom. Mr. Jogesh. Mr. Jogesh Lulla, Senior Vice President, Sportscom, Sportstech, JetSynthesis. Ms. Shubhangi Gupta, co-founder, SportVOT. Mr. Vivek Singh का भी दे दो.